Welcome to Carrying Wayward, a supernatural podcast for fans who aren't ready to let go and newcomers to the series who are ready to jump in. I'm Marie Vigourou.
And I'm Drew Schulman. In this episode, we're diving into Supernatural Season 9, Episode 6, Heaven Can't Wait. Let's get this show on the road. I feel like someone else can't wait.
I am just so pumped for this episode. Like, I am just so excited for it. Like, it's just, yeah.
Like, I don't think I predicted this episode, but I basically asked for this episode. And then, like, they just on a silver platter were like, here, and we're going to garnish it with even more queerness than you could have hoped for.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. I literally just rewatched it actually before we hopped on here, and I'm just oh, I'm so pumped. Okay. I'm ready. Let's do this.
What an absolute fantastic episode. And like, what a fantastic episode to get to like share with our listeners, and even more so to thank our patron and our coffee supporters. Because again, thank you for supporting us every month. Your donations are really meaningful to us. It's what makes it all a lot easier for us to do what we do every week.
Yeah, I mean, this is really like this is a huge episode for Destiel shippers which like we know kind of make up like a lot of our listeners. So like we're not going to make you wait any longer, and we're going to ask, are we ready for the recap?
Count me down.
3, 2, 1. Oh my God.
Castiel's like living normal human life, and it's the cutest thing ever, and I'm so in love with it, and it's amazing. And like the rest of the plot kind of happens, but who cares? It's that. And then like Dean dreamily watching him through the window, like yearning for him. Oh my God, the queer energy of this episode is immaculate. Sure, there's a big bad. It's an angel whose name I've already forgotten, but he turns people into pink mist, which is super upsetting to consider, because all he cares about is people being like perfectly happy, and even the modicum of like doubt or something is enough to make him go, you shouldn't be a thing anymore, I decided. He is taken care of by Dean and Cass through a nice little like final save together, a little bit of camaraderie, while Cass is babysitting, which is super fun to watch still. What does it matter? Cool, they saved the day. Cass and Dean amazingness time.
This episode was written by Robert Behrens, directed by Rob Spera, and originally aired on November 12th, 2013. Oh, I am honestly just not sure what to put in the long game this week, just because of like how iconic this whole episode is. Like, because honestly, for me, like this is like on the level of Faith and like The Man Who Would Be King and like Free to Be You and Me. Like these are like some of my favorite Supernatural episodes. Like this is when I find Supernatural is really good.
This episode was just like start to finish, felt good. I loved watching it. You're right. This is one of those episodes that like, sure, I don't think we really got like any major push forward in the like overarching main plot of this season, but like every frame of this episode was like so intentionally done and had so much thought put behind it. And like, I think on multiple occasions I'd written the note to myself before writing our main notes of like, oh my God, this scene. And then going, no, wait, this scene.
So this is actually Robert Behrens' like first episode for Supernatural. And we're going to get back to that in critical time.
I was going to say new name.
This is a writer that I think he might be like my favorite writer of the series, to be
Which
honest.
I'm just going to say, and I think this is somewhere I'm going to say you are allowed to spoil me. This isn't his only episode, right?
No. It's not his only episode. He's coming back for a lot more.
Yes. Exactly. We have a Messiah.
So first off, we do meet finally Steve. And Steve is basically Castiel's like drag king name.
I love this. And it's one of those things too where it's like, does he need a fake name? He could just go by Cass. Like, it's a name.
Well, that's why I'm saying like,
he needs a disguise. He can't be He's not Castiel the Angel. He's Steve the Human,
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying it's his drag king name.
which I love. It's so
I will
good.
not explain further. Thank you. So we do hear Cass sing, which is really cool. We also see him with a baby, and I know that a lot of fans are like really into that, so that's great. And obviously, it's just like the Destiel of it all. Like,
Oh, I know.
we have another rather large fanfic gap from the
Mm-hmm.
moment that Dean picks up Cass after Nora comes home and he's asking him, like, so where to, Cass? All the way up to the moment where he drops him off at the Gas and Sip the next morning. So that's
Yep.
something for you all to consider. And that's it for me.
Oh yeah, no, there's lots to go into there, and the fanfic app is a magical place, and I'm happy we have it.
Hmm.
This week, our theme, very much on the nose, is yearning. Like this week, Sam and Kevin take a jump into the wonderful world of Zimmerman's Encyclopedic of Extinct Languages. Dean showing off this week's theme post haste, yearning for anything that is not 24 volumes of ancient dialects. I'll be honest, I kind of thought it'd be really fun for me, but yeah, I know. Uh, while Dean's adventures and reconnection with Cass is our focal point, and yes, very clearly yearning is seen here. Um, the Codebreakers back to the bunker have to tiptoe around trying to make a deal with Crowley for some assistance, leading to the episode's very surprising stinger. And final connection to our theme.
Honestly, like I just find that everything about this episode is like so well done. Like again, I love this episode. It is so good.
Yeah, it you know what, like I honestly, I'm gonna be super transparent here. Like I always do a little quick like reread of the plot of the episode before sitting down for this, so I kind of have like anything I may have like want to say, especially in the recap, that I'm not gonna miss anything major. Um, and then I read this a little paragraph about our theme before we get to our characters, and I'm reading it going, oh yeah, Sam and Kevin do shit in this episode. They have a plot.
Yes, I
I
know.
completely and it's a good one too. It isn't just like a B plot. It's freaking awesome. Like the end of it all we'll get to, but like it's a legitly like cool moment.
I fully agree. Like, listen, I kind of always forget about this part of the storyline, but like the thing is like it's always a surprise to see it pop up, but it's always such a good surprise. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's good too. Because like the Destiel of it like overshadows everything else, right? It just kind of like takes up a lot of space in my mind anyway.
Like there's just it's just a sign of good storytelling is to have a B plot that is actually interesting and has
Yes.
moments of like wow, not just can we get back to the A plot, which I mean I still kind of
Actually,
felt.
arguably, the B plot is more related to the overarching plot than
Yeah.
like the A plot. Although, you know what I mean? Like it's just, anyway, it's so good. Okay. Oh my God, I need to chill.
No chill necessary. I'm on the same page as you. Um, even to the point where I've crammed Sam and Kevin together to make the section quicker. But I'm pairing these two this week as they really like don't get a whole lot of screen time, but we do get to see how they handle Crowley and the completely reasonable distrust in him, given the everything he's ever done ever of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of love the whole like Sam and Kevin versus Crowley thing. Like it's actually really interesting to see it happen and the dynamics of it.
I'm glad you said it. It's a really interesting dynamic. Like Sam is fairly reasonable in what he will allow or not in regards to making deals with Crowley, whereas Kevin, who is like much more opposed to anything Crowley wants. And I love how quickly Sam sides with Kevin. Like in pretty much every instance, the initially like shutting down of even making a deal, like he's just like, yeah, no, Kevin's out, I'm out. Like allowing the call to Abaddon and the choice of like the blood donation. Like Sam doesn't push Kevin, he simply offers and lets Kevin make decisions. Sam obviously wants this solved as much as anyone else, but like he's not willing to go against Kevin's wishes or limitations to achieve it, unlike other people have done this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think here we really have like a classic case of like competing needs, right? Like everyone in this situation, like if you think like Crowley, Sam, and Kevin, like they all want different things from this situation that's happening, and none of them can get it all. And so it's really about like trying to negotiate these needs and like deciding what they yearn for the most, I guess, right? And
Well
we'll get that
put.
back to that with Crowley later.
Oh yeah. So again, Kevin understandably has his reservations and is cautious every step of the way. Like, yeah, shows his true colors and like pushing himself a bit further each time beyond his previously stated level of comfort in order to get what he wants. And I'm unclear here, and we'll get to why when we talk about Crowley. But like at first, I thought Crowley requesting Kevin's blood was like he like just wanted to like show that he had the power and can make a move and see how badly they really wanted his help. But like maybe there's more to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, we're gonna talk about that more, like you said, when we get to Crowley, but there's also like the plot thing of like what happens if Crowley finds out that like Sam has an angel in him, right? Because he's had quote unquote a taste of Sam's blood in the past, right? And so like he would know maybe, perhaps, mayhaps if like something was different this time around. Um, because like, oh yeah. I have in my notes because the animal cannibal was able to figure it out, and I was like, "What the fuck do I mean?" Okay, yes, the animal cannibal from last episode, of course. So yeah, because the animal cannibal was actually able to figure that out, so like surely Crowley would also be able to figure it out, and he would not be shy about telling Sam about it either, right? Like anything that can give him like a little tiny speck of power, he will take. So I think that this was originally born out of like a need to keep Sam's blood away from Crowley now that he has like Ezekiel in him kind of thing. But it could easily be just like you said, where Crowley is just like, no, I want Kevin's blood because I want his blood.
See, whereas there's a part of me too that's like maybe something to do with like the fact that Kevin's blood is maybe knowingly he knows is more pure than Sam's blood, regardless of the Ezekiel thing.
Yep.
That he thinks maybe it'll have a better effect on him, and he's kind of yearning to get that feeling back. It almost feels like a druggie chasing a high, almost.
Oh, no, 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 it's not
Oh, I
almost.
mean, yeah. I mean, it's
Very much so.
blatantly painted as such. I mean, yeah, sorry. Very, very written in blood on the walls, literally.
Yes.
But again, like I love Kevin and Sam's like relationship here because it really does mirror a Sam and Dean relationship in a way of just the like I'm willing to do a lot of things, but like I don't want to put you in danger. But then the
Mm,
Kevin being like, no, I'm okay with a little bit of danger as long as I'm making that choice. And it feels sort of like with the I know I said it sounds like a Sam and Dean relationship, but I think it's the relationship they want it to be where like they feel more equal.
yes, it's basically what their relationship looks like when they are at their best, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I now love the idea of seeing like Sam and Kevin getting like a spin-off adventure day where it's just the two of them and like just like how weirdly perfect everything works because they agree and they like where they disagree, it's like logical conversation, then they come to a proper solution and it's like there's no issues.
It's so funny because like you know how like Castiel and Dean work really well together. Dean and Sam work fairly well together. You know, Dean and Kevin work weirdly together because they're like I feel like the IQ drops terribly when they're together. Like they're yeah, and Sam and Kevin work really well together, but Sam and Castiel like does not work. It's like
Again, I still want that episode. I still want the buddy cop episode with the two of them.
oh, well, maybe you'll have it. It might not be Buddy Cop, but you know, you'll see what you get. Might be a Pleasantville thing.
And weirdly, I'm picturing the two of them, which I haven't done in quite some time, and all I'm seeing is Mulder and Scully. Without the sexual tension part, but just the
Or maybe with, we don't know. We'll see.
good point. Speaking of sexual tension, let's move on to Dean.
Let's move on to Dean.
Wow, I set that one up by mistake. I mean, okay, that first shot of Dean looking at Cass while he's working through that big shop window
Ugh,
is basically a masterclass in Nicholas Sparks filmmaking. Like, clear as day, Dean is yearning for Cass and misses him. And he, of course, plays it off. He's being there just for work. But, tell me if it was just for work, why not let Sam tag along and leave the bookwork to Kevin like usual?
listen, it's for me, it's the cut from because I just rewatched this. It's so fresh, but like it's the cut from Dean like wistfully looking at Cass through that window with the sad romantic music a la Nicholas Sparks. Cut to a teenage girl on the phone being like, he dumped me, Chase.
God, I forgot how close those are cut together. You're right.
And I'm just like, Robert Barons. I just need like 5 minutes of your time. Like I just want to talk, you know? Like
I just want to give him a little blue ribbon and be like, that's enough. We're good.
that's good. That's great. And honestly, like for me, it's also like that moment where Dean walks in with like that smirk on his face, like that freaking smirk, man. Like I have
Hmm.
seen that smirk. I've been on the other side of it, and there's like nothing worse than to see the person who dumped you show up in your space, in your life, and act like they still belong there. And of course, like he's doing that because he's himself trying to mask the fact that he's yearning for Cass. But like just the way that I wish I could wipe that smirk off of his face, like this gets me like in a place.
If there were ever a moment in Supernatural for a banana peel to just show up out of nowhere that he
Oh
could
my
trip on
God,
and fall on his face in that moment for Cass's sake,
this man.
this would have been
I
it.
just, ugh.
And like again, it continues. He's like belittling Cass, to a point regarding his acceptance of the human day to day life. Like he has, again, like you were the one who basically forced him to leave the bunker. Like, what did you expect him to do with no powers, no home, no money, and no one else who loves him?
I have so many feelings about this moment because like as I was rewatching this, for some reason when he said like this is not you, you're better than this or something, I kept hearing, you're gonna get this reference, but I kept hearing Jess's voice saying, "Why did you drop out of Yale?"
Mm.
Right?
God damn it!
I knew I'd get
Oh,
you. But like it's
very
just it's I know.
so
I know.
so the same
And
energy.
and like it's really upsetting because I know also and also I feel for Cass, right? Because he really is trying to make something of himself in the way that he thinks is best in this moment, right? And I also know that Dean is saying these things because he truly believes that Cass deserves better than what he's going through right now, like because he believes that Cass is better, right? Like, and I would also argue that that's like I think also one of the barriers in Dean's like mind, I that like holds him back from really exploring that relationship with Cass. It's that he really believes in his heart of heart that Cass deserves better than him. Because let's not forget that like just last season, he was told by a high-ranking angel that he basically ruined Castiel, right? And so like to see him in this spot, like it must be really difficult for Dean.
I also like bringing up that point in this context. It, my first instinct when you said it was like, that's a really weird out of place thing because Dean is very like, I'm going to defy the odds and do what I want kind of person. But I think there's this part of him that looks at Cass as like, I mean, he does look at Cass as better than him. There's no question there. He sees Cass as above him. And I think there's a part of him that does believe that like Cass could never settle for someone below him like me. So the idea of, yes, he deserves better and I shouldn't ruin him and I need to give him that space to fly free and not anchor him down, despite in any other scenario with any other human person he may have interest in, he'd probably defy that. With Cass, he does actually feel like he might be the thing weighing him down and wants to give him that freedom.
Why did you drop out of Yale? Right?
God
Like,
damn it. Oh. And then we have Cass doing what I wish for, learning to be human, and it is so bloody precious. But it's like it's more than adorable. It's like it's this yearning to fit in, to understand, and to be part of humanity. Like we've seen him over the past several seasons try to integrate and learn, but now that it's not just like a passing interest, it's his real life. He doesn't really have a choice anymore. But despite that, he seems to be giving it his all, and not just out of necessity, but out of like a passion and hope.
Yeah, so like we know that Cass has always like wanted to belong, right? To heaven with the angels, and then eventually with Sam and Dean, right? In the fight for free will, and then to heaven again, and then as a hunter, like he even mentions it in this episode, right? I tried being a hunter and you said I sucked, right? Like he's just kind of like really bitter about that. And then also he wanted to be a beekeeper. Like, so he's tried a lot of things in order to like fit in. Like he yearns literally to belong. And so in this episode, we're kind of seeing him doing everything he possibly can in order to belong to the life that he has started building for himself. And despite like his deep desire to belong, he still feels like there's something missing. Dean. Dean's
Yeah,
missing.
Dean, yeah, 100%. And it comes to fruition too, because like while we all agree that like the one true love for Cass is Dean, we are seeing Cass experiment and try to do more human-like things, such as going on dates.
Mm.
And there's that moment after he says yes to Nora, and like, okay, quick aside, can you like freaking blame Cass for getting the wrong ID? Like, she freaking kisses him after essentially asking him out. Like, I was 1,000,000% convinced this was going to be an actual date, and
Oh
was
yeah.
just as baffled by the fake out. Like, sorry, what I wanted to highlight was like after that bullshit kiss, as Cass gets back onto the ladder, he has this look on his face that is so perfect a combination of excited and what have I gotten myself into? And it is so perfect for this moment for him.
Right? Right? Because like he's doing what he thinks a human in his shoes would do. And who is his model for humanity? We've talked about this before. It's
Yup.
Dean. So what would Dean do? Right? Like
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. I rest my case. Like I remember talking about this with you at one point about how Cass is like learning to be human, or at least like learning about humans through Dean so much that like his entire view of humanity is skewed. Like he thinks that all humans are like Dean kind of thing. And
It
it's so cute. It's just I
is.
love it. But so wait, can we also talk about the moment in the car? Because like you can clearly see that neither of them really wants Cass to go in the house for his fake date, right? Like
Yes.
this is just so very clearly like a broken up couple who's really trying to be supportive with one another and like encouraging the other to date, but like neither of them likes it. Like it's just so clear to me that this is what's going on in this case.
Oh my God. It's so precious. It's I can't even put into words how like pure and honest a feeling that is. Like I have seen that. I've been that. And oh, it is just it's heartbreakingly amazing. You know what? You know who put it best in this moment? That would be our producer Rochelle's notes on this line. Cries. Just
It's
that's
true.
spot on.
We have
Spot on, Rochelle.
listeners. She's been actually, Rochelle has been like reviewing her notes and like adding feedback if she thinks that like we've missed something important in the episode. But like a lot of the time, her feedback is just like cries and then, yup. What else did she? That's all we got. We got cries and yup. And then what else did we get? Banger later. So yeah, so I think we did good with this one for
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud. We're not done though. We're not done. We still
No,
have stuff to
no,
talk
because
about.
we actually have the plotty part of the episode where Cass winds up face to face with another of his kind, one who has this very simple and strict set of rules to live by and will not stop until his mission is complete. Another like minor fake out reveals that he's here for Cass because Cass is hurting. Gee, I wonder why Cass is hurting alone without his Dean. Um, and well, I think the goal here is to make us think it's because he was stood up. Like I think it's just to show us how human Cass has become. Sure, things aren't perfect, and he may not be perfectly happy, but he's making it and growing, and that's what being human is. Something Ephraim, that's his name, Ephraim, is
Yes.
clearly not understanding. Though I think there's a part of me that like I'm sure others who know parts of Cass's pain come from his rejection by Dean after making his way all the way to the bunker to reunite with him is the real source of his pain.
Well, there you go, right? Like, I really think that that's exactly it. Because, of course, he's dejected by Nora using him as a babysitter. And, like, of course, he's upset about heaven and the angels. But what really, like, triggered this is the fact that he can't be with Dean, right? And that is like the literal source of his yearning and unhappiness in this moment. And Cass really truly deserves like true happiness.
Yeah, as simple as that.
Hmm.
Like again, even to go like analytical on Ephraim for half a second, like if his true thing was like, oh, anyone not feeling like 100% joy is a target, I mean, the world would be a pink cloud right now.
Right.
Perfect life doesn't exist. I don't care who you are.
Mm.
But the fact that he is like, I guess, prioritizing people based on how they're feeling, like how extreme their unhappiness is, that he goes for someone like Cass, it says a lot more. I mean, this episode says a lot of things, but that just adds another sentence or two.
Hmm.
Um, Finally, we do get to Crowley because like I said at the top, I forgot, but
Crowley!
he does so much.
Yes, it does.
Like he's yearning for his freedom, like his place as the king of hell, his place in demon society. But we get that moment at the end as he's injecting himself with Kevin's blood, harkening back to the ritual with Sam last season. And like overthinking aside, like does it need to be Kevin's blood? Like I said earlier. Anyways, what really matters here is some part of Crowley appears to want to go back to the way he felt that night, a yearning. And maybe, like he said last season, he just wants to be loved.
Exactly. So, like, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier in terms of like trying to prioritize needs, right? Because, of course, like Crowley wants to be king again. He wants to defeat Abaddon, like all of those things. But clearly, like, what he wants most in this moment is to shoot up human blood. So, his biggest yearning at the moment is that feeling of vulnerability that he had with Sam in the church last season. And he would do anything to get a little taste of that again. And who best to understand that than Sam?
Oh my god, yeah. I honestly so much this episode to think about. I didn't even put that together.
I honestly, I only put that together like as I was watching it earlier. Like I just saw it and I was like, oh my God, that's like Sam with the demon blood. But like that's the demon with the human blood. Oh
Oh,
my God.
if they have like a like, and again, like I don't, again, I wouldn't say no to a Sam Crowley romance. I don't foresee it given their characterizations.
Hmm.
But I see it as a good like odd couples pairing where like they butt heads but like weirdly click on things in some ways.
Hmm.
I'm very intrigued. I again, in my heart of hearts says that we're not going to get it, but I would love to see the like Crowley understanding how to deal with his needs and wants and like his addiction with Sam as like what's the term of the person you call when you like you're afraid you're going to slip. You're like
Sponsor.
sponsor. Thank you. I was going to say spokesperson. I couldn't think that was the word that came to mind. I'm here
I
to
think
tell you that
Sam would
Crowley's
very
a good
much like to
man.
be excluded from this narrative.
Oh, so with this episode, I mean, my biggest thoughts are like, how are they going to keep Cass away from Dean now? Like, my God, the tension here this week with them being apart, like Romeo and Juliet are turning in their graves. They've not known love like this, and I do truly want more of that. Like, sorry, I do truly want more. So, what did I write here? I do truly want more. So then before, okay. And I just want more of like the Cass being a human. Like, oh my God, can we get a Cass being human social media account or blog? Or, oh my Lord, what if he had his own podcast called Not Angel Radio, where it's Cass learning how to make like Borat style, like math jokes? Oh, I would die for this. Oh my God, please. Misha, make it happen. You could do it. Um, as far as what I suspect, um, I mean, more trouble for Cass. If he's going to be apart from the brothers and thus a target on top of already being a target, I assume this will be like our lead into more plot heavy stuff in the rest of the season. And then Crowley, after his little after phone call snack, I mean, like we knew when this is where it was going. Like, I don't think any of us are sitting here being surprised, but like it's pretty damning evidence that there's more to this humanity and Crowley thing. And I'm so excited to see both of these characters discover humanity.
Oh, this is just, and it's so interesting because it's in such different ways, right? Like Cass
Yeah.
really wants to become and to belong, whereas Crowley just wants to feel and exploit almost. Like it's just so fascinating. And again, like just opening that door for Crowley's like arc, like human blood arc, I guess we should
Oh
call
my
it.
God.
Like it's just, it's amazing. So brilliant.
I can't wait for more of it.
the first episode, and I do say the first, Drew, not the last or the only. This is the
Yay.
first episode written by Robert Behrens, or Bobo, if you've been part of the Supernatural fandom for a while. He was the first openly, and I do say openly because, right, we don't know about people's identities. So he was the first openly gay writer on the writing team. Like I said, because as a queer person, I know that our identities aren't always shared openly for a lot of reasons. So Bobo started off his tenure at Supernatural with a banger of an episode, and it's no mistake that we picked the very queer theme of yearning to talk about it, because the episode is so incredibly gay. So, yearning is one of those words that does not have a Latin root. It's directly from Old English, meaning to strive, to be eager, to desire, to seek for, to beg, to demand. And I mentioned this because, like, as a native French speaker, and knowing that French is a Latin language, I can always find like a direct translation for the words that we use as themes, or at least usually I can find a direct translation. But yearning does not have a direct French translation. And I find that so fascinating because like it means that some languages in some parts of the world felt a longing and a desire so strong that they had to have a specific word for it. Now, I did say that yearning was a queer theme, and of course, it's not always the case, but it really is in this episode, and there are a few reasons for that. First, it's that the desire we see happening between Dean and Cass happens under the cover of heteronormativity and therefore plausible deniability. When Dean is longingly looking at Cass working inside the gas and sip from his car, you could argue that this is one friend looking at another friend who he hasn't seen in a long time and who went through a lot. And when Cass is acting like a jilted lover when he sees Dean showing up at the gas and sip, you could argue that this is one friend who is upset that another friend didn't let him couch surf at his place. And when Dean is fiddling with Cass's clothes in the car while dropping him off for his date, you could argue that this is one friend helping another get ready for a date. But if you've ever had a crush on a friend, you know that this is not what's happening. Dean is yearning for Cass when he's looking at him through the gas and sip window. Cass is trying to hide his yearning for Dean when he's acting all cold and distant. And Dean and Cass yearn for one another in that car. And the second reason I say that this is queer yearning is because of this idea of suffering and impossibility. If we look at the monster of the week, who is Ephraim, whose name we had forgotten for most of the episode, he's killing those who are suffering and believe that their situation will not improve, right? The suicidal man, the teen whose boyfriend broke up with her, both were suffering and felt like it was impossible for their situation to get better, basically. Like they just couldn't have what they really wanted. Now, Ephraim eventually targets Cass, and this is where it gets really juicy because you could argue that he's targeting him due to Cass's condition of being newly human to come back to the cover of heteronormativity and plausible deniability. But the timing of Ephraim's attack is what has me smirking here because he attacks Cass after him and Dean have their yearning moment in the car. And you could argue that he's targeted because he gets shut down by Nora. But again, say it with me, under the cover of heteronormativity and plausible deniability. And what I want to highlight here is that Cass is suffering because he thinks that the one thing he wants in this moment is the one thing he cannot have. So here's my question this week. How does plausible deniability function as both a narrative tool and a cultural constraint in queer storytelling, especially on Supernatural, where yearning is central, but queerness stays mostly in the subtext?
I think that's a lot. First of all, an amazing analysis of the scenario because it's very much making it clear what it is and pointing out what we've all seen. But that's what it's doing, though. It's pointing out what we're all seeing. And in a world that even today still has trouble representing queer folk on television or in media, that still has trouble letting everyone be their true selves in front of everybody, let alone several years ago when this episode aired originally, and it was even harder to do those things. The language that people can use to get across what they truly want to get across without putting the text literally in the text is this, is the plausible deniability. I didn't write the story intentionally to come across that way. This is what I wrote. This is how it was acted. But you know what you're doing. And in this case, you know what you're doing for the right reasons. You are subverting the rules and playing within the boundaries you are constricted to, but still getting across the story you want to get across. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have to do this. Bobo would not need to write this amazing story and then have to hide it behind this plausible deniability of heteronormativity just to make sure that it made it to air like any other episode would. But at the same time, we would not be discussing that today in such detail with such evident examples of it if he was not writing it knowing that this is what the message he wanted to get across was. So it does build this tool, essentially, this skill that writers have where they're able to say one thing but imply what they truly mean. And in a show like Supernatural, where there seems to be this kind of war against letting us have Destiel, it's writing like this that lets the truest colors of these characters shine through in ways that are so evident and like correct feeling that you have to wonder, how did nobody else figure this out, or how does anyone debate this?
But it's really interesting because like for so long talking about Destiel was a real taboo, right? In at supernatural conventions, but also like in different places. Like people were called crazy for saying that they saw something between these two characters. And it's really interesting because the people who are watching it now for the first time are like, well, yeah, duh, obviously. Like it's just become such an accepted thing, right? And I like, I don't know. I'm real bitter about it. But I will say, I appreciate what you're saying also about like, you know what you're doing, you're a professional. Like, of course, you meant for it to come across that way. Because I think that that is also something that could be said about certain actors on the show. Just
Yep.
saying.
You know what? A well-written script is a well-written script, but a well-acted script brings a lot of it to life.
It sure does, Drew. This week we have a message from Avery, and before we listen to it, we want to remind you to send us a 3-minute voicemail. So to respond to anything we discussed today, to ask us a question, or to answer my critical time question, you can use the recording app on your phone and email us the recording at carryingwayward@gmail.com. And this is how you know that we say this every single episode.
Hi, Mary and Drew. I'm so excited for you to finally enter my beloved Carver era in season 8 specifically. There is so much in this season, and I can't wait to hear all your takes on it. A headcanon I always loved in season 8 is the Amelia was a hallucination theory. So when I started my rewatch, I wanted to catch all the evidence so I could send in this voicemail. However, the theory kind of fell apart for me rather quickly, especially since we're not presented with any other explanation of where Sam could have spent a whole year. In Citizen Fang, Dean tricks Sam into returning to Kermit, and there we meet Amelia and Dawn, and it's hard to maintain the illusion. That said, I think a lot of the evidence used to posit that Amelia is a hallucination works to further another very interesting possibility, that Sam has replaced or altered his memories to make leaving Amelia easier, just like Dean did with Cass in Purgatory. The main evidence to support the Amelia was fake theory is the way that Sam's flashbacks are framed like a dream. They have the soft lighting and the hazy edges, and are very reminiscent of the way Supernatural has used the same technique for unreal experiences in past seasons. Plus, my favorite, where Sam is doing the dishes with Amelia's dad, he rubs at his palm, much like how he did throughout season 7 to bring himself back to reality. Amelia has a picnic for him on his birthday, which is eerily similar to Dean's dream of Lisa back in season 3. Arguably, her reactions seem pretty outsized to Sam's actions, though I'll admit to having fallen victim to siding with the character we know best in some of those situations. Her dad's mostly a dick to him. Their relationship moves at quite a click that seems disjointed, like Sam was maybe able to imagine the gaps it's filled. And I think all of this is pretty compelling until we see Sam back at Kermit in the present day, and none of that is true anymore. Season 8, as we've been seeing, is the unreliable narrator season. We can't trust what anyone in the show is telling us to be true, and that's evidenced very early on with Dean and Cass's memories. First, Dean rewriting his own memories so that he was the one who failed his lover, BFF, not that Cass rejected him, chose to stay behind. Then, Cass's explanation for returning from purgatory and pursuing the tablets has been altered by Naomi's design. Neither of their narratives of the past year can be taken at face value, which makes Benny a valuable witness, so why would we think that Sam should be? Sam and Amelia are both coming off huge traumatic losses, and honestly, that's enough in many ways to explain the way that their relationship is stilted, then a speed run, and everything in between. And in that sense, it makes sense that Amelia's dad would be skeptical. Plus, Sam's on his own for the first time ever without the structure and bubble of college, and it's not like he's had good relationships modeled to him. But I also think it's more than that. Sam spent this entire series consumed by fears surrounding his worth and what the weight of his mistakes means for his value as a person, if he even has any at all. Much like Dean had to rewrite his memory such that Cass didn't realize his worst fear, someone choosing to leave him, I think Sam, in those softly lit, hazy flashbacks, makes himself the bad guy. It's easier for Sam to leave Amelia and return to the life if he's doing what's best for her, so he crafts himself as the stalker who hit a dog and refused to be responsible for his actions, the guy who's getting in the way of her happiness and who her dad doesn't approve of, that their whole relationship was volatile and unstable and couldn't compare to what Dawn could provide to her. Because Amelia in the present day is different. Certainly more similar to the Amelia we meet in their shared home, but also a woman who is more understanding, more calm, and more broken than Sam gave her credit for. And yes, they've both had time to heal, and they've both had their lost loved one returned. But if Sam were to acknowledge that, much like Dean and Cass coming to terms with their unreliable narration, he can't be sure he would make the same decision. Hopefully, it goes without saying that the parallel of Sam giving up Amelia and Dean giving up Benny in the same episode for the same reasons is an insane thing to do. It's barely even subtext, these brothers in arms who discussed what their story would be when they got back home. But also, Benny and Amelia are the reliable narrators here. They have no reason not to tell it exactly like it happened, and they both do. They stir pots that desperately needed to be stirred and end up losing the men they love because of it. Chef's kiss, frankly. Anyway, as always, looking forward to your thoughts. Bye!
Avery, the roller coaster that just sent me on, you have no idea. I had, again, given the time between seasons 8 and 9, I had forgotten so much of the Amelia stuff. Like, I remember her existing, theoretically. And like I remember like, oh yeah, there was this whole like she's not real theory, but like, oh yeah, we do kind of meet her in a way where we kind of have to believe that she's real. And then like you fully took me back to like, nope, none of that happened. That was all in Sam's head. It was like maybe a fling or something small, but he needed to like cope with the fact that he was alone for so long. So he like made up this relationship and probably kind of maybe still pseudo stalked her a little bit, which is kind of creepy. But like, I'm fully on board with the like, what we know of Amelia is incredibly skewed by Sam. And then to compare it to like Benny and the way Dean looks back at that time with him, and like, oh my God, that is just, again, I am back 100% on team Amelia wasn't real, air asterisks.
I mean,
oh my God.
No, sorry, finish.
No,
I have very strong feelings about this.
No, please go. I need to like let my brain settle for a second so I can keep spewing stuff.
So first off, Avery, thank you so much. I was also taken on a very important roller coaster. I kind of finished with like my head in between my fingers, just like staring at my keyboard. Listen, I kind of love that idea of Sam being an unreliable narrator of his relationship with Amelia, especially as like kind of showed through the cinematography of the flashbacks. I think that that makes so much sense, right? Like that he is now that he's looking back on the relationship, he is showing himself to be the bad guy in the relationship in order for him to feel like it was the right thing to do to leave her behind. Um, I it is unhinged that we are answering this voicemail on the day that we're talking about this particular episode because again, like I just feel like there is so much of like Sam and Amelia that we're seeing that we've seen with Dean and Benny, but that we're seeing again with Dean and Cass. And like, Dean, my gay boy, you can find a boyfriend. It's okay. Like, my goodness. So yeah, I think that this is also something that we have seen Dean do a lot about his childhood, right? Where he thinks back and he doesn't really see things the way that they actually happen. He sees this through his own lens of when he was, a child and understanding through his child's eyes, but also like through something that he is able to make sense of as a child. And it feels like Sam is doing that as an adult, and it kind of makes me like there's something there. And it makes me think also about the comments about John Winchester about how they were having trouble, like him and Mary, but then when she died, she was like the perfect wife, and they had the perfect marriage, right? Um, and so oh my God, these Winchester men, send them to therapy.
Oh my god, the amount of show we could solve with that one click.
There would be no more show, Drew. Like, that's the issue.
It'd be one season and it would be super cathartic, but I don't know if we'd watch it.
17, go to therapy. The end.
There was a moment there where I thought you were gonna say something, you didn't, but I thought you were gonna say like Dean looks back with rose-colored glasses and
Yeah.
like what it makes me think of is like they choose to look back on moments sometimes with rose-colored glasses, but other times not.
Yeah.
But like Avery, like you said, in a way to make the memory easier to handle. And in that case, for Sam, it was making himself the bad guy, making himself look like less so that he could leave her without a huge issue. But like, not in like again, you look at like Dean looking back at like growing up with John, and he frames everything as like, yeah, it was fine. Like, yeah, there were problems, but like overall, it was fine. It wasn't.
It wasn't fine.
But it's a matter of like they both kind of have this tendency to look back at a memory and go like, yeah, maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe it was more like this because that fits my own personal narrative better.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they do it and they both go in different directions with it at different times, depending on their need, it just feels like a much more real problem than always looking back at things in the best possible light or always looking back at things in the worst possible light. The fact that they, much like we as humans do, like live in the gray of like things go up and down, there's goods, there's bads, and we live with them, like it almost makes it more believable that they would tell these lies to themselves. And I think that is just such a amazing bit of storytelling in the show, and this is a great season to show that off to us.
Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, I feel like this is kind of like a through line also to season 9. So like this is very theme and context appropriate voicemail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I always love asking, what did we learn this week?
Well, so I think that this episode teaches us, or at least like it kind of made me think about like the fact that what we think we want isn't always what we actually want. Like this episode has like so much projection on the part of like both Dean and Cass, and even like Sam, Kevin, and Crowley, right? Like they all think that the other wants something that they don't necessarily want, right? That I think that there's a message there about like the need to really interrogate our yearning, because it might be hiding some things that we don't necessarily expect.
Yeah, this feels like I'm hoping this isn't like a me thing and this is like an everyone thing, but like when you're watching a movie and like you're just like, if the two of you characters would friggin' tell each other what you're thinking, you would solve all of the problems immediately.
Yeah.
But no, you need to fight about it and go your separate ways and have the movie happen just to eventually get back to the point where you have the realization of like, oh, we should have just spoke this out in the beginning. It's really what I'm feeling from this here is if everyone just said what they wanted, we would solve so many problems.
Well, the thing is that, like, also without conflict, there would be no story, right? So, like,
yes, obviously. Yes, the conflict makes the story, which is why we don't have them say the thing.
Like, let me just have like a supernatural episode where nothing happens. It would be, I mean, I would actually love that. I'm not even gonna lie.
Again, I'm now saying Cass and Crowley starting the Being Human podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Not Angel Radio. I love that. What about you, Drew? What did you learn?
I learned that I really hate the saying, if you love someone, let them go. Because it's like the kind of line someone might use here with Dean and Cass. But like, I feel like that would like much better apply to Dean and Sam in, letting Sam pass he wanted to. Like, if you truly love someone, you respect their wishes and let them do what is best for them, even if it means letting go, not shoving your one true love into a dépanneur in the middle of nowhere because some angel possessing your brother told you to do that.
This was Carrying Wayward, a supernatural podcast produced by Rochelle Castellano, hosted by Marie Vigourou
and Drew Schulman. Thank you to everyone supporting us on Ko-fi or Patreon,
including our bunker patrons, Jeremiah Thomas and Michelle.
We'd also like to thank Jake Lionheart for our music.
Head over to carryingwayward.com to become a patron or a Ko-fi subscriber, and for our merch store and our socials. And write us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Carry on, our wayward friends.